At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show where I don't even know what's happening this morning, but Pete Wilson is here.
Hello there. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Pete. Did you have a wonderful Christmas and New Year?
It was very nice. Very nice. I tell you what, but it normally brings out the best sides in all of us.
It does for the most part. There's a best side. Wait, show Jeremiah's best side.
Show my best side.
Jeremiah, show him your best side.
Yeah, we don't want to see the best side.
All right. No, we have Jeremiah. Okay, this is probably like workers' comp waiting to happen. We have Jeremiah on a ladder trying to fix something in here. Off to the side of where Pete and I are sitting. So there we go. All right. Do not fall. He's standing on the top of the ladder where you're not supposed to be standing, and he just fell off.
Right.
We're good. All good. Okay. So Pete, what's going on with the news?
Okay. Well, we're gonna share some of the latest information that we've got, and we're gonna start off with a story from the political front.
Okay.
You remember?
Thank you.
You may remember. You may not remember, and the TV folks in TV land, same thing. But we have reported in the Telegram and on Main Street TV and on the radio that we had one contested race in the primary, the March 19th primary. Remember, it's early.
Yes.
On the Republican side, Paul Haller, hoping to win a fourth term as county commissioner for the January 3rd term against Gregory Beckner, well-known gentleman from the Wellston area who was a manager at the Jerry's Do-It Center in Wellston. Well, Greg ran against Paul 4 years ago in a three-way race, pretty close. Paul did win his third term. The only contested race was a rematch between Paul Haller and Greg Beckner. Well, big surprise happened on Wednesday. Oh. Greg Beckner withdrew as a candidate for county commissioner.
Okay.
Correct. He did send a letter or message or dropped off something to the Jackson County Board of Elections to make it official. He also emailed a statement to me so we could, publicize it in the local media.
Okay.
And here is what he said. I won't speak for him. I'll let him speak for himself. It's not long. Quote, I would like to announce my withdrawal of my candidacy for Jackson County Commissioner for personal reasons. I still have the political desire to serve the people of Jackson County, but at this time, I do not feel that I can put forth a valid campaign. Hopefully in 2 years, I will be in a better position to run as commissioner. I would like to thank everyone that has come forth with their comments and support.
Okay.
Unquote.
Fair enough.
So, we have a bunch of county level offices that are on the ballot in 2024, almost all of them, except for one of the commissioner spots, all the judges' spots, and county auditor. But the rest of them are up for 4-year terms. And there are Republican incumbents running for every one of them. There are new challengers. There are no candidates on the Democratic side. So on the local level, at least, except for maybe some levies, it's going to be a pretty quiet primary as far as contests that have to be decided.
Okay.
Now, the asterisk that we have to throw in there is that independent candidates do not have to file until the day before the primary, March the 18th. And in recent years, it's fairly common for an independent candidate to come forth. And now when they know that, there's no contested races in the primary, they may come forth to run in the general election. Some candidates feel it's more advantageous not to run in a primary for whatever reasons.
Right.
And they run as an independent, which, in a smaller county where, more people know people and they know names, maybe the political label is not as important. Well, I don't know. But Anyway, the bottom line is Paul Haller is now unopposed in the March 19th primary. There are no other contested races on the ballot. In Vinton County, that is not the case. There are a couple of those up there on the primary level. Now, in the general election, there could be contested races if independent or write-in candidates come. Of course,
Sure.
the disadvantage of being a write-in candidate, your name is not on the ballot. And
Yeah, it can get quite confusing.
Right, I don't think you would do that unless it was a timing thing or a late decision or whatever. So that is news that we will have in the Saturday edition of the Telegram. All right, another story that I don't think has gotten out very much. I learned about it on Wednesday, and we'll be featuring it in our Saturday paper. Of course, you're an old Jackson High School girl. Okay, not an old Jackson High School girl.
I am, though.
90s or 90-something, right?
Yes, we'll
All
go
right.
with 90-something.
Right, I'm 70-something, so I go back even farther. But you're very familiar, of course. You went to the old Jackson High School, now the
Did.
Jackson Middle School.
Yes,
And I'm
lots
sure
of great memories
I'm sure
there.
you attended games back
yes.
on the stadium, which is still very much used by the middle school. That's where they have their football games.
Yes.
And also Jackson's greatly successful and popular Pee Wee football program.
Yes.
You know, with 4 different teams that play there.
That
So
is insane.
It's a busy place.
Yeah.
Well, they announced a major facility upgrade that is in the works. Phil Howard let
Really?
me know about this, and we took a picture down there. The concession stand where you go into the west side of the stadium off Vaughn Street there,
Mhm.
that building apparently has been there since 1959.
Okay.
They are going to take that building down and build a new building. Here is that building. You know, if you're not sure what it looks like, of course, the gentlemen are standing in front of it. The reason that they're standing in front of it is that they're going to build a new building there, bigger and better.
Okay.
And it is a partnership between financially speaking at least, between the Jackson City School District and the Jackson Sideliners Club. The Jackson Sideliners Club formed in the mid to late 1980s. It is one of the Jackson football program support clubs. They put a lot of money into the football program that would not otherwise be able to be spent if it were just up to the athletic department and the available money there.
Sure.
And what's happening is I didn't have a figure yet on what they think the project will be. Maybe they don't have an exact figure, but the cost is going to be split between the school district and the Sideliners. The Sideliners are putting up money, and the reason
Okay.
they are, not just because of the middle school program, the school lets the football stadium be used for the Pee Wee, or otherwise, you know, there wouldn't be a place for all these Pee Wee football games.
Right.
So, I mean, it's good that the school district do it, and they should do it, but they don't have to do it. So the Sideliners are coming forward. They couldn't do it on their own. The school district, you know, they don't have a lot of money in the athletic department after they pay for everything
Sure.
that goes on. So the school is going to use some money from its permanent improvements fund that can only be used for something like this. And the Sideliners have some extra money, and they're going to put it into this facility. And how it's going to be, Jennifer, it's going to be larger. There's going to be, the big addition is restrooms. There's going to be restrooms, men's and women's restrooms.
No kidding.
Right. Now, it's nice that,
How will all the fights happen when you have to go over to the visitor side to go to the bathroom?
right, I know. Well, what they have now are porta potties. And you love the porta potties if there's no other option.
Yeah.
But you'd rather go, you know, to a physical restroom with the running water and all like that.
Yes.
Right. And
for
so
sure.
there will be men's and women's restrooms.
That's awesome.
Room for 5 or 6 men and women in their respective restrooms at a time.
Super
Because, you
cool.
know, Phil Howard actually thought, and as big as Alumni Stadium is, and as many people go on Friday night, if there's middle school games during the week and then a couple Pee Wee games on either Saturday or Sunday, he figures there's about as many people in a week that use that facility as use Alumni Stadium.
I could see
That
that.
seats 7,000 people. If you ever drive by there on a Saturday or Sunday, or even on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday when there's a middle school game going on
Yes.
where there's 7th and then 8th grade playing, you can see that it draws a big crowd
It
down
does.
there. So another big thing, and this is such a big commitment that's being made by an individual person in business. Brian Moore, who is currently the president of the Jackson City Board of Education, he's also always been a big booster of the school. He's a wonderful athlete when he was in school too. He is going to provide he and his company, Brian Moore Construction, or maybe it's just him. I assume he's going to have some of these folks work with him. They're going to do the labor free of charge.
No.
Free of charge. What a donation.
Wow.
An in-kind donation.
That's a lot.
Now, Brian Moore and his company did the same thing with the girls' softball hitting facility up on the campus, which is there, and
That is
expected
so
to
kind.
be a big boost for the softball program because you're not sharing time with the baseball facility that's mainly for baseball, and you're not outside practicing.
Correct.
Because a lot of the off-season work now for the softball program is done in cold weather before the season starts.
Not good.
And even in the spring, you can have some nasty weather there. So anyway, they hope and feel that building, the new building down there, will be done before the start of football season.
That's awesome. So it'll be restrooms and then also the concession stand as well.
Right.
A new concession stand.
There'll be
Cool.
there'll be a concession stand in there. There'll be a ticket place because before the ticket takers were out under a tent as they came in, and you're exposed to the elements. You're counting money and like that.
Yeah.
So, the wind's going the right direction. You may not be able to keep from getting wet. Not to mention cold.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a storage area. The band boosters have used that for storage, and there will continue to be some storage area there.
Awesome.
They're also going, since the building's going to be a little bit bigger, but if you can picture this, if you're familiar with the stadium, there's the concession stand that's there now, and then there's a graveled area, and then you hit the bleachers. They're going to take that graveled area out and put in concrete, which will make for better footing, especially if it's nasty outside and wet, and obviously for wheelchairs and people who have trouble stepping.
Absolutely.
For disabled persons. So that will be another big step forward for the school and the football program. So that is in the offing. We'll have all that information in Saturday's paper in an article. And that picture, Dylan, if you could put that picture back up, please. That picture of those people in front of the building, that was school district people and Sideliners Club people. Yeah. On the left is school district people. They all came out for this because they appreciate so much the partnership. And the Sideliners, led by President Troy Adams, they were out there as well. President Troy Adams called it a win-win thing.
Love that.
Phil Howard always jokes about, all the criticism you take when you make a decision on whether you're going to have school in the winter or not.
Yeah.
Well, he said one of the things that he's got the most complaints about on an ongoing basis has been the lack of a building with restroom facilities at the stadium. And he said, I don't know whether this would be under the category of a sexist comment. He said women especially complain about having to use the porta potties.
Well, let's just be honest. It's just a little harder for us.
Right. Okay. All right. Well,
we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, the women can be very happy. The men will be happy too.
But I think more importantly,
because they're not heated
is,
either, the porta potties.
Right? No, they are not.
It can get pretty cold in football season.
It can. But I think just hand washing facilities too, with all of the junk that we have floating around is helpful.
Right.
Too,
and let's face it, they clean the porta potties on a regular basis. But, if they're getting used heavily during an event, as time goes on, it's probably not going to smell real good either. And
it's just not a good thing.
It can be kind of a yucky experience, even though it's necessary.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll move on now. Past that. Talk about another good thing, a facility improvement on another plateau here in Jackson County. Recently, the Jackson County Commissioners at one of their meetings had a guest from the Jackson County Fair Board. It was Michelle Elliott, who is on the board.
Okay.
And also there was Seth Michael, who is the clerk of courts, and of course, the BMV director. All right, a major donation was announced. Michelle Elliott on representing the Fair Board was the receiver, and Seth Michael and the commissioners were the givers. They are donating together, the clerk of courts, and the BMV, which he has a separate fund.
Sure.
That accumulates a little bit, that is beyond what they need. And Seth has always been very good about sharing with the county on some projects when it's needed. But the commissioners and Seth Michael, in his capacity of clerk of courts at BMV, is donating $11,500 to the Fair Board, and there is the actual
Wow.
donation picture. You see Commissioner Donnie Willis on the left. You see Michelle Elliott holding that check and grinning about it. Then Commissioner Paul Haller, and then on the right side is Seth Michael. $11,500 to expand the campground at the fairgrounds.
That
has become
awesome.
very popular in recent
Yes,
years.
it has.
Not just during the fair, but for other events during the year. It's a big income generator for the Fair Board because they have that facility, and you think about the fairgrounds. Some people 1 week a year. Well, it doesn't have to be used just 1 week a year.
No, it's used.
They have a nice building there, a meeting building with a kitchen. The 4-H building, and then if you have a campground facility. You have the potential there to have weekend events, not only through locals, but for people coming in from the outside, whether it's a demolition derby, horse racing, some other recreational event that's using
Absolutely.
the track
They have
and the grandstand.
They have the camp outs.
Entertainment,
Yeah.
certainly.
For sure.
So it's $11,500 donation, and they expect that they will be able to expand the campground area by more than 40 lots. Now,
Nice.
that's very expensive, and this is just the first step. $11,500 is not going to cover all that
No.
infrastructure, but it will cover the necessary architectural and engineering costs you have to do to set the table.
Okay.
So I know that the Fair Board is very happy about that the commissioners and Seth Michael are very good to support this. And the Fair Board, our Fair Board, I'm sure all the small county Fair Boards are this way. They not only work so hard to run the fair and plan the fair, they had the Fair Managers Convention this week in Columbus, by the way.
Oh.
So, it's just not a one week a deal job being on the Fair Board, but they raise money for their own physical improvements there. And then when they get something like this, a donation from the outside, it's a big boost.
It makes a huge difference.
Right, exactly. All right, well, it is the first of the year, and that means we have transition in a lot of our local governments. We learned that,
True.
from the election. We have some officials across the board for our school boards, our city and village councils, our township level officials. We have county officials. We have a lot of people who are getting sworn into office.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the persons already sworn into office at a public event, and of course the Telegram was there to cover it, and by extension, Main Street TV, was the swearing in of Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner. Now, Anthony is not new to mayor, but this was his first elected term, remember?
Yeah,
He was-
it's kind of strange.
Right,
It seems like he's been there forever.
He was appointed to office by the Republican Party when Charlie Hudson resigned with a year to go on his term early in 2023, and then he
Yeah.
was elected in a contested primary election for the remainder of the unexpired term against Tom Clark.
Yes.
And then, so when the general election came, Anthony Brenner was unopposed for the full 4-year term, which began January 1st. On January 3rd, which is Wednesday, Anthony Brenner, there on the right, took the oath of office from Jackson County Commissioner Donnie Willis, who is also the executive committee chairman for the Jackson County Republican Party. And that is a still shot from that ceremony that was held at the mayor's office. Now, during that time, Anthony talked with our own Jeremiah Shaver, not only for a newspaper article, but for a video that is on the Telegram site and that we can show on Main Street TV.
Great.
And Jeremiah kind of sets the table on what happened that day, and then Anthony Brenner talked about in general at least, about some of the exciting things that he and his administration will pursue in 2024. So, Dylan, if you have it, you can roll it.
Hello, I'm Jeremiah Shaver, and I'm a multimedia journalist with The Telegram. Today I'm in the city of Wellston, where this morning Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner took the oath of office for his first elected term as mayor of the city of Wellston.
All right, raise your right hand. I, Anthony Brenner,
I, Anthony Brenner,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and abide
to support and abide
by the Constitution and laws
by the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America
by the United States of America
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and the ordinances of the City of Wellston,
and the ordinances of the City of Wellston.
and that I will faithfully perform
I
and
will
discharge
I will faithfully perform and discharge
the duties of Mayor
the duties of Mayor,
of the City of Wellston, Ohio,
the duties of the City of Wellston, Ohio,
for the term ending December 31st, 2027,
for the term ending December 2027?
31st,
31st, I'm sorry. 31st.
2027,
2027.
to the best of my ability
To the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brenner was originally appointed to the seat of mayor by the Northern Caucus of the Jackson County Republican Party Central Committee after they voted on Friday, January 27th, 2023 to appoint Brenner to the unexpired term of Wellston Mayor. The mayor position became vacant when Republican Mayor Charlie Hudson resigned in early January 2023. He was serving a 4-year term, which was set to expire at the end of 2023. Brenner, who at the time was serving as Wellston Service Director, a position he had held since April of 2021, stepped away from that position to take on the appointed position of mayor. He served out that remaining term for 2023 and sought to be elected to the position during the 2023 election cycle. In the Republican primary, Brenner had opposition as former councilman Tom Clark threw his hat in the ring for mayor, but ultimately Brenner secured the Republican nomination, no opposition in the general election in the fall of 2023. The Telegram was able to catch up with Brenner following him being sworn in to speak about a few of the upcoming projects the city has planned for 2024.
All right, so this year the City of Wellston has a lot of exciting projects going on. We're going to continue with our infrastructure projects that we're going to be working as far as replacing water lines. We already have one going down on Ohio Avenue. We'll have more throughout the year. We have quite a few as our continued promise to upgrade for our children and upgrade our park systems. Blamer Park will be getting a fence addition and some lighting for for the ball courts down there. We're also will be executing the grant for the RV park to move forward with that project. This year we'll be finding out here in the coming months how the ACGP grant falls. Hopefully something will come in our favor and we'll be able to move some projects there also. And we'll be starting the engineering for the Ohio Avenue project, which we'll be execute next year. So a lot of good projects, a lot of exciting things happening. It'll be a very busy year, much like last year. We'll keep the tempo up, and hopefully we'll have a lot of good results again this year.
Reporting for The Telegram on theteleGramNews.com, I'm Jeremiah Shaver.
Thank Anthony Brenner for taking the time to talk
Of
to
course.
Jeremiah, and we thank Jeremiah. Does a great job on the newspaper reporting and on the video reporting.
Yes,
I know
he
a lot of
does.
people appreciate it. So we'll show those on Main Street TV as much as we can because
Yeah.
this is TV land, right?
That's right.
All right, but if you want to see that video, it is posted on the Telegram Facebook page.
Okay.
And a companion story, a related story, will be going in our Saturday edition.
Very
All
good.
right. Speaking of the Fair Board, we're gonna circle back to that.
Okay.
Every year, late in the year, I think the date varies by county, but at some point before the first of the year, the agriculture societies, which is AKA Fair Board, everybody knows it as Fair
Yes.
Board. Formally, it's the Agriculture Society.
Yes.
They have to have elections. That's how you get elected to the Fair Board. You just
Okay.
don't volunteer. You have to be
Right.
elected.
Yes.
Not anyone can vote. You have to be a member of the Agriculture Society. But, there's still lots of people that are on that. But anyway, I want to give you the list of the people who are going to be on the Fair Board in 2024. They are on the Fair Board in 2024.
Okay. Here in Jackson County?
In Jackson County,
Okay.
correct. The officers that's a separate election once it's determined who's on the Fair Board.
Okay.
Mike Farley will return as president. Ryan Pelletier, who has been the president before, will be the vice president. I believe he is replacing Chris Walls, who's a very active Fair Board member, will remain on the Fair Board, but did not run for vice president. Ryan
Okay.
stepped up and will do that. Gerald Fuzzy Fulkerson will be the secretary, and the treasurer will be Kevin Wilson, and they are all the same. The only change is Ryan Pelletier as VP.
Okay.
Reelected to new 3-year terms, and these are returnees: Felicia Walls, Chris Walls, Michelle Elliott, Walter Moon, and David Kaiser. New members elected to 3-year terms, these are newbies: Tim Hill and Chad Pugh. 21 people compose the Fair Board, and they have an election
lot of hard
every
work.
year where 7 of the seats are up. So it's staggered, 7,
Okay.
7, and 7 to equal the 21.
Gotcha.
So when you're elected, it's for 3 years, but there's a turnover. So everybody isn't going to change in 1 year. Is the
Right.
the way they do that. And
Cool.
hopefully we'll be hearing more news about some of the plans for the upcoming fairs in Jackson and Vinton counties very soon, because a lot of the plans are made at these fair managers convention. They do it every year, early in the year in January.
Yes.
And I know that that was going on this week. I don't know whether it's wrapping up today or wrapped up last night, but we always
That's where they book all the entertainment and stuff.
they book the entertainment, and they meet usually the fair boards meet on a monthly basis, and they're looking at what happened at the last fair. They're looking at their budgets, and they're making big decisions. And one of the big decisions always is how they're going to spend their money.
Yes.
And it's always a risky thing. You spend a lot of money on an entertainment thing, you need that return, so you have money coming back and you can pay your bills. If you don't maybe book something that is expected to draw a big crowd, then you face potential criticism. Well, how come the fair didn't do this, or how come the fair didn't book this person, et cetera.
Right,
So it is an
exactly.
annual debate, and there are always camps within the fair board.
It's so hard to know
on
what
to
to
think.
do.
It's like managing your own family budget or your business
Yes.
budget, depending on how much to spend and how much to invest.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Sometimes it's a gamble.
It certainly is. I know you can relate. All right. Good news through Jackson and Wellston. This came out last week, but I haven't been on TV to talk about it, so I'm going to mention it at least real quickly. Both the cities of Jackson and Wellston received from the state what are called AMLR grants. AMLR is an acronym for Abandoned Mineland Economic Revitalization. And this is neat. It's really good for us because we've had a lot of mining
Lots
here.
of mining, yeah.
Right. They will give you money that automatically qualifies you to at least ask for money for projects within your locale. And they don't necessarily have to do with abandoned mine land. What they're saying is, in theory, is we know that hurt that you have abandoned mine lands.
Correct,
and
because a lot of it's not usable.
Yeah, we want to help you revitalize.
Okay.
And for instance, I believe that the Hotel MacArthur, which is kind of like a tourism project, that was AMLR money.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that it was. But anyway, to get to the news story, there were 6 projects in southeastern Ohio. Somehow Akron is in southeastern Ohio. Did you know that? That was
Wait, what?
yeah. The Akron Canton Airport got one. But anyway, the other 5 were either in eastern or southeastern Ohio, and 2 of them are in Jackson County, the cities of Jackson and Wellston.
Wow.
Jackson will be getting an AMLR grant of $2 million for flood mitigation, remediation, and improvements at Eddie Jones Park. Most of this, if not all, will be at Eddie Jones Park.
Thank God.
Right. You know about the jokes when there's a big rainstorm. You
Eddie
go out there,
Jones.
it's the Eddie Jones Marina,
Eddie
right?
Jones Marina, yeah.
Right. Well, obviously that impedes the use of the
Yeah.
facility. There's
It's
always
not-
cleanup.
There's
and-
nothing good about that.
Right. Well, this is going to go towards...
Unless you're a duck.
Yeah.
or a
Well,
goose.
Yeah. Canada geese like it.
The Canadian geese love it.
Right, I've seen blue herons fly through there too. But anyway, the flood mitigation is a big deal for the
Yes.
use of the park. They're also talking about perhaps extending trails from Eddie Jones Park to other parks in the city, according to Mayor Randy
That would
Evans.
be fantastic.
That might be what some of the money is used for. But it is not 100% sure that the entities are going to get the grant. They have to pass a qualification thing at the federal level, but the assumption is that they qualify and
That
the
is
project is
great
viable.
news.
They have one little extra hoop, but the state felt Mike DeWine and ODNR, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, the Abandoned Man Line program is under that. They feel confident enough that this money is going to come through.
Love that.
All right, for the city of Wellston, they're going to get almost as much money, $1.84 million, and it's going to go towards developing that RV park there in the recreational complex off State Route
Super
327.
cool.
Remember,
Yeah.
they got that big grant before from ODNR that improved those facilities. They already had a great recreational complex, but they fixed up a field. They built new trails through there. There's a footbridge. They have a new soccer field, much more parking space, which was a problem. A lot of money went into that, and all those things are done. Lighting for the ball fields. Now, what Anthony Brenner said, this is kind of his pet project, and other people are behind it too. They already have a great recreational complex. Their idea is to build an RV park with multiple units where when they have these tournaments, these invitational softball tournaments over there, if they have an RV park, they can have multiple days and where people can stay at the RV park, which is right next to the fields. There is no hotel in Wellston.
No, there
So,
isn't.
you know, they're going to have to stay in Jackson, Chillicothe, or Athens, and that might be a little bit of a deterrent on a team or a group deciding to play in a weekend Wellston tournament.
100%. Yeah.
Also, Anthony Brenner emphasizes this: it's just not for the locals. It's just not for the out of town people. It's for the locals because there will be amenities there at the RV park as well.
Yeah.
You know, fire pits, picnic facilities, maybe a basketball court or whatever.
Sure.
This is another place where the locals can use as well.
Love that.
And this $1.84 million isn't going to build the RV park. You know how far money goes these days.
No.
A million here, a million there. You know,
It's just nothing.
It isn't quite enough, but it will help set the table with infrastructure, actual construction of infrastructure, because they're going to have to have water and sewer lines and all connections. Those things, concrete pads and all, that's the sort of thing that will be paid for. An access road. I guess the access will not be directly off 327. You go right into the RV park off D Street and or Jeff Montgomery Way. You'll be able soon at some point to go into on the 327 side and drive back there, but it's back off 327 where this land for the RV park is. According to Mayor Anthony Brenner, he would expect that there would be, he feels that there would be at least a minimum of 50 sites in this RV park. So good news on the Ambler grants from both the cities of Jackson and Wellston.
Wouldn't it be so wonderful to be able to use Eddie Jones Park and utilize that beautiful space that we have, but know that you can't do anything with it because it's going to get trashed. You know that.
And some people think, you know, they like to walk on the bike trail back there. I like to do that. Well, sometimes you're not sure. Yeah, you're not sure that you can do that all the time. You know, it's been dry for a while. You know, okay, it's beautiful. Go do it. It is a very picturesque walk, and they built that spur where there's some extra section of the trail. You know, from the end there out to Veterans Drive. They have that too. So. Anyway, good news for both the cities of Jackson and Wellston. We will follow that story. It's already been in the Telegram and posted. Okay, I know that earlier in the week, Dylan showed the video of the big reunion of the state tournament teams at Oak Hill. But I want to go back to that because we have some good pictures to show you. We did publish these in the paper. They were in the paper last Wednesday, and I thank all the people that made that happen. Red Thompson Jr. was down there to cover it. Seth Fain, who has a photography business and is the official photographer company for the school district. He actually went down to Oak Hill, shared these pictures with us to make it easier for us to give great coverage for that. And of course, I want to personally thank Doug Hale, the Hall of Fame basketball coach. He helped me with the IDs and some other information so we could give that great coverage. That also was in the Telegram Wednesday, and stuff is posted. But I wanted to share, Dylan, if you're ready, some pictures from that, some still pictures from that big event. Here is this is the only team in Jackson County history in basketball that has ever won the state tournament.
Yes.
They won it. They not only got there,
I remember that like it was yesterday.
It was 2009. These are the members that came back for that big reunion. It was last Friday. It was part of it was in the middle of a doubleheader, a boys-girls doubleheader of the current Oaks team against River Valley. But the gentlemen who came back for this were, we had, I don't have their names with me now, but a lot of the players came back. You see Jimmy Sloan there standing on the right. He was one of the assistant coaches. Standing in front in the Oak Hill jersey is Weston Hale. He was a member of the team. He is now the coach of the girls team.
Okay.
Norm Pearson, who coached the team, was not present for the thing, but he was acknowledged. He was the winning coach. Okay, then we'll go to the girls teams. The girls teams, two of the girls teams that Doug Hale coached made it to the state tournament, and they won a game. They were one step away from a state championship.
Yeah,
They lost,
for sure.
lost the state title game, but what an accomplishment. What a record that Doug Hale had. What a run he had with the Oak Hill girls basketball program. These are the members of the 2004 team. You see Doug Hale standing in the back there. Also standing in the back, just on the back right, just second in from the right, that is Whitney Hale Crabtree, who was on the team. She was an assistant coach in 2009 when they also went to the state tournament.
I was going to say.
And she is the principal now at Oak Hill High School. So then, Dylan, if you can show the other picture there of the women, that is the 2004. That is the, well, I think I might have mixed them up. That is the 2019. The other one was the 2014. I am so sorry.
No, you said it right.
This is the 2014.
Oh,
This is the
2014.
2014. Okay. I'm sorry. Well, see, they even got some of their kids with them there. Jimmy Sloan is there. Of course, Doug Hale is in the back, and there is Whitney Crabtree as well. But that is
yeah, because 2009, the boys and the girls ended up in the tournament.
okay.
And the girls were the runner-up, and the boys won.
That is. I know we're mixing everybody up. We're screwing up. That is the 2009 team right there.
Okay.
Because Scott Lewis was an assistant coach, and he's back there with Jimmy Sloan there on the far left. And Whitney is there. She helped coach that team.
Cool.
All right. So another neat thing that happened there, it was kind of bittersweet. They dedicated a new floor marker, a new floor design, and they put it on the basketball court on the approximate spot where in the state tournament, Ryan Borden made the three-point shot, which was the game-winning shot in the championship game of the state tournament. There it is.
That's so cool.
RSB, Ryan Scott Borden is what that stands for. Number 21, that was his number. Of course, the reason that makes this bittersweet is, unfortunately, Ryan Borden died as a very young man just earlier this year.
Yes,
and
he
this
did.
was dedicated in his memory. And also, if Ryan Borden was living and breathing today, as we wish he would be, they still may have done this anyway.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't make that low percentage shot from way off, Oak Hill may not have won the state tournament. That is maybe the most famous basketball photograph in Jackson County history, not just Oak Hill history. That is Ryan Borden going up to make that three-point shot against Kalida that won the state tournament in 2009.
I remember I was sitting at home by myself watching that game on some obscure TV channel. I don't even remember what it was, but and it was just like, oh, this is not going well. And then it was just like, oh my gosh, they won. It's so cool.
Yeah,
it was such a good game to watch.
It went back and forth.
It was crazy.
And like I say, think about how long Jackson County's been around, how long the teams have been playing basketball. And there's been plenty of good ones. Only 3 teams have made it to the state, 2 girls teams, both from Oak Hill, and 1 boys team from Oak Hill that actually won the state tournament.
That is awesome.
So
if you zoom in, you can see their team like jaw dropped.
Yeah, like everyone's like,
that's cool. I mean, that would have been something you would have never ever forgotten if you were there. What that was like. Can you imagine the exultation of the Oak Hill fans?
So cool
up there who were there up there to see that. Of course, that was something the Telegram covered way back when. All right, so now we'll go back to government. And there is a lady who did some yeoman's work for the village of Coalton who has stepped aside from that job. And of course, we're talking about Mayor Kim Milliken, former Mayor Kim Milliken now. That is Kim on the left with her husband, Jim Milliken, who has been a big supporter of her as a councilman and as a council president. And he has actually stepped into the position of mayor. And to be very frank, because no one else stepped up to do it.
No one else would do it, yeah.
And so here is Jim getting sworn into office recently. He is on the right by Jackson County Probate Juvenile Judge Justin Skaggs. And so Jeremiah Shaver, circling back to Kim, wrote a very nice feature article on Kim that was in our Wednesday paper, and it kind of reviewed Kim's 12 years of service, 3 terms, and what happened during those terms, good and bad, and then her reflections on her service. Now, at some point, I think it was early on in her term, not that it was a very big salary, she forfeited her salary, or the most that you can do. You're not allowed to not take a salary. You either have to donate your salary back, you can do it that way, or change the amount of your salary. And her salary was changed to $1 a year. And of course, that was her contribution to the village of Coalton
Not
when
too
things,
stingy
when
there,
things
huh?
were a whole lot tighter. But one of the crowning achievements that she had was the recent completion of a major sanitary sewer project.
Huge.
That brought them up to date with the modern system, and they were able to do it with grants and loans so that no village money is used. People's got to pay for it, with their monthly bills and so forth, to operate it, because they didn't have this before. They had septic tanks before.
Yes.
But as far as the infrastructure and the project, the construction phase, the back end of it, where they did remediation, all that was paid for. And that took some hustling on her part. And Coalton Mayor Jim Milliken will just briefly say this. They had their first meeting, or tried to have their first meeting of the new year on Tuesday. That was their first scheduled meeting. Unfortunately, there are only 3 village council members right now in Coalton, because Jim went away from his position to become the mayor, and 2 others did not run, and nobody else stepped up to run.
Oh, my.
So they could not have a meeting because they did not have a quorum. So they're working out how they can get, some new members appointed so they can do their business. If they can't figure a way to do it through council, and they're reviewing all the possibilities. I think even as we speak, it will have to wait, and Jim Milliken as mayor can make an appointment after council fails to do so. But there is a waiting period of a month there.
Gotcha.
So they're trying to work it out so they don't have to wait a month to start work.
Yeah. Sooner is better than later on that.
Right. They think they'll be able to come up with something. All right. One of the stories from the criminal justice front that we want to share with you has to do with a sentencing that happened in United States District Court that involved a crime that occurred in Jackson County. Kenneth E. Tolbert, age 28, he's a California man. He pled guilty in August of 2023 to these charges of sexually exploiting a minor and possessing child pornography. What Cameron E. Tolbert did, and I guess we can say he did it because he was convicted, he made connections with a 14-year-old Jackson girl.
I remember this now. Yeah.
You know the story because it's hard to forget it. But, he flew all the way to Jackson County to have sexual encounters with a 14-year-old, even to the point of climbing in her bedroom window one night. Right, I knew, yuck. But anyway, he also had a bunch of child pornography, as it turned out, on his computer or phone or whatever.
Didn't he go to the high school or the school or something?
He actually went to the school to pick this girl up after he had already had some encounters with her.
Goodness.
And that is when the school resource officer for the Jackson County Sheriff's Office caught him in the parking lot, detained him, and now the rest is history.
Yes.
He was sentenced in United States District Court just very recently, and
so that's not a local court; that's a district court.
No, right. It ended up with federal charges. It may be because he's from California and this was across state lines. This crime. Sheriff Ted Frazier for Jackson County, they're very much involved in the investigation. He got the FBI and federal authorities involved because, if this happened here, maybe this suspect was doing it elsewhere. And so, it's a wider net than just Jackson County that they wanted to check. And I don't know whether there were other places, but as far as Jackson County is concerned, he was sentenced to 204 months in prison, which I'll tell you how much that is. That's 17 years. Why they say months, I don't know, but it is 17 years is what that amounts to. But he first met the victim online, always dangerous, right?
Yes.
6 months prior, began chatting with her on different social media applications, including Discord, if you ever heard of that. He admitted to flying from Sacramento, California to Columbus on August 20th to meet the victim at her home. He parked nearby to her residence, snuck in through her bedroom window to avoid security cameras at the front door. He admitted to engaging in sexual intercourse on 2 different days with this 14-year-old female. An examination of his digital devices, computer, phone, whatever, 500 images and 1,100 videos depicting child sexual abuse of both very young minors and not so minors, teenagers, images and videos also of him having sex with the 14-year-old
Oh my
victim.
God.
So pretty bad, but the
Not good.
man was caught. All right. Also want to tell you that the city of Wellston is looking for potential people to serve on council. They're short on council right now. There was a development last night that maybe we'll tell you about next week. It happened at last night's council meeting. But going into this year, they had a vacancy on 4th Ward Council, where Lindley Carey, who had been the 4th Ward Councilwoman, did not run for re-election and was not interested in continuing. Nobody else came forward.
Okay.
Well, Walter Bub Norris, who had been on council as an at-large candidate, lives in the 4th Ward. He resigned as the at-large council and will be appointed, or has been appointed by council, to be the 4th Ward. So now
Okay.
they have an opening for at-large.
For an at-large.
The
okay.
advantage of being at-large, it's the whole city.
Yeah.
It's just not a section of the city.
Sure.
Maybe they'll have more luck finding somebody who wants to serve. But I'm sure that they'll be putting out information. We'll have it in the paper that, if you live in the city of Wellston, you're a registered voter, you can put your hat in the ring for this position. All right. We also want to tell you about some other things that's going on. Going through this so I can get through it. We want to tell you that the Vinton County Sheriff's Office has a new person on the staff. No, I'm sorry, canine on the staff.
Oh.
It is Canine Jax. Canine Jax. There he is.
Oh.
He's a little guy.
Just a little
He's
guy.
a little guy with Deputy Rainey there. He is an 8-week-old German Shepherd. They're starting him young.
I can't. Oh, so cute.
Right, as you can see, the ears are not up in the air yet. He will soon undergo training, and he will, even this sweet little pup, will be good at narcotics detection, tracking, and article searches. And I don't know, maybe he will bite the bad guys. I don't know.
Maybe, you never know.
But anyway, alleged bad guys.
Yes.
Okay, and Sheriff Ryan King would like to thank Ryan and Keisha Stewart because they actually donated this pup.
Oh, wow.
So I know that the dogs are very important in the law enforcement game because, they've got noses and they can do things that people can't do.
Yes, they can. They are amazing creatures.
Right. And also, we want to tell you this. You know how when we do all the announcements, we put articles in the paper and we talk about deer season and hunting season, about the requirement of wearing hunter orange.
Yes.
All right. So what happens if you forgot to wear your hunter orange or you just don't do it? It's going to cost you if they find out about it.
Besides, you get shot.
Right. That would be even
I mean, there's
worse.
kind of a point for that.
But the state, the Division of Wildlife, on a monthly basis, puts out some different law enforcement cases across the state just to show
Sure.
what the Division of Wildlife is doing and create public awareness about violations and the
Yeah.
fact that things are being done to violators. Well, in Vinton County, I'm not exactly sure when this occurred, but it was sometime in this current deer season. Cole Tilton, who is assigned to Vinton County as the wildlife officer, was told that there were some hunters hunting for deer and they were not wearing hunter orange or camouflage hunter orange, which is an alternative that's
Right.
legal. Well, he contacted the hunters, found the hunters or contacted them. They must have known who they were, and none of them did meet the hunter orange requirements. They knew that they didn't. They pled guilty in Vinton County Court, and they have all paid $182 in fines and court fees.
Got to put that orange on. man.
$182 for not putting on that hunter orange.
Yep. It's not hard to find.
Right, exactly. Hey, we want to tell you about something we hope will happen next week, Jennifer, and I'll try to give you some background information so it will help you on your interview. But there's a gentleman who grew up in Jackson who wrote a book. He went away to all over. I think he's worked in multiple states. He's now in Illinois. was semi-retired, but he's still teaching some at the college level. That's Dr. Todd Reynolds. And if that name's familiar, that is Jim Reynolds' older brother.
Okay.
He has two older brothers. Dr. Todd is one of them. He's a history professor. He looked at the letters. He read through the letters between his parents, who are now, of course, all deceased, Eliza Reynolds and Gordon Reynolds Sr. Gordy Reynolds is called him. And he wrote a book based on their letters during World War II. And this was a microcosm of what a lot of people went through in World War II. There was separation of families. And Gordy volunteered for the Army. He was in the Army. He was in Europe. And he wrote a book, Todd did, on these letters, what it was
so
like.
special.
And he included a section on it, so well written. I love history, and I read this, about what Jackson was like during World War II, how the war affected Jackson. Some great information that I had not seen before. Everybody knows about World War II, or they should, about, the details, the big picture. But this is about how it affected the home front and people. Anyway, that book called Gordy and Eliza came out just a couple months ago. It is available through Amazon. We had a big feature article in the paper. There's Dr. Todd. Doesn't he look like Jim?
I was going to say they look just alike.
Right. Well, anyway, through modern technology and what Dylan is able to do, I don't know whether it's Skype or whatever, I think he's going to be on next week with you to talk about his book and what Jackson was like during World War II, what motivated him to write it. And, I will tell you that I read the book. It is a must-read book. It's interesting, even if you're not a history buff.
Well, and even if you're not from here, I mean, it's just a real life story.
No, it could.
Cool.
There's parallels to every small town. So, also, Jennifer, there's going to be a bunch of meetings next week, the first of the year, for a lot of these governmental entities. We talked about how important that is because you got some new faces going in. There's going to be people sworn in. Also, plans will be made. Some news will come out about some of the agendas for the year for our different cities, villages, and school boards. But the meetings next week, the Wellston City Board of Education will meet on Monday night, the Jackson City Board of Education on Tuesday night, the Oak Hill Board of Education on Wednesday evening, and the Vinton County Local Board of Education. This is a change from when they usually meet. They're going to meet Friday afternoon, the 12th, a week from today at 3:30. And on all these school boards, there are some new members that are going on, some incumbents, but some new members.
Sure.
Not all 5 members of the Board of Education were on the ballot this last time, but either 2 or 3 were.
Yeah.
So, it's always interesting to see who gets elected president and vice president, because they always elect officers, and also, who gets in and how the new personnel will affect the dynamic of the school board and their direction. So.
Sure.
All right, we want to tell you that Maybe Carn Road, that is a county road down in Hamilton Township. It might be a township road, I'm not sure. I think it's a county road. But it's going to be closed for 3 days, beginning Monday, January the 8th. It's at the location, the first bridge south of State Route 139. So that section of the road will be closed. They're going to be doing soil borings as part of the design part of what will lead to later at some point, I'm sure maybe this year even, of a bridge replacement project.
Yep.
So that's maybe.
Got to test those soils. It's very important.
That's Maybe Carn Road. Okay, a couple other things to tell you about. Maybe you'll hear more about this next week or soon. There is a new exhibit at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center. They do every month or every other month. They have a new display there. Well, they have one that you'll want to see, if you like art and you like painting. Carrie Saygraves Dodds, who is a Foothills of Art Festival winner multiple times. I think she's won Best of Show. She has an exhibit at the Marquet. It made its debut last night. Alex Shope was there.
Very cool.
He may be working on an article as we speak, so you can look for that in the Telegram. And also, I'm sure that information and maybe some photos will be shared here on Main Street TV very soon. All right.
Love that.
Yes, exactly. A couple other things coming up soon. Larry Zorns, our good friend with the muzzle loaders, the Liberty Muzzle Loading Rifle Club. I'm guessing that he will be on, cowboy hat and all, to talk about this year's pre-1980 indoor trade fair at the Cantor's Cave 4-H camp.
That's right.
The date is Saturday, January 17th. I see you got a flyer there, so I know you'll mention it here as leading up to that. but it is a great event. You can get a lot of neat things that you're not going to get at Walmart or anywhere else.
You
right?
are not kidding
Right,
about that.
And a lot of the sutlers, and that's what they call the dealers, the vendors. They're dressed up in the
It's
garb
super
pre
cool.
1890. It's quite a spectacle.
Yeah.
Alex Shope always holds his hand up. He wants to go cover that.
Yeah, it's
So
really cool.
I will let him do it. This is his 25th year, by the way, and the admission is only $4, and they share that with the Cantor's Cave 4-H
Yeah,
Lodge.
And the other part goes to our kids for 4-H.
Right,
So it's very important.
Exactly. So you can look for Larry to come in and maybe talk about that. We'll have an article that will be in the paper very soon as well. Another event coming up, kind of the same way. It's a good thing. It's the Jackson County Sportsmen's Federation's annual banquet. It's going to be Saturday, January 20. They usually have it out at Cantor's Cave, but it's going to be at the Parks Edge Event Center. I'm not
Okay.
sure if they switched to there last year. I'm thinking not, but this year it's going to be at the Parks Edge Event Center
Okay.
on Saturday, January the 20th. They give away scholarships, and of course,
They do.
all the money they raise from their dinner tickets, their raffles, their gun auctions, it goes to support outdoor wildlife and conservation, a good thing. And so if you want to know more about that, support that and attend the banquet. They give you a great meal as well.
Yep.
There will be numbers to call. I'll give you one of them right now. I'm sure we'll be repeating this before the date. It's 740-395-7007. Once again, 740-395-7007. And that is at the Parks Edge Event Center at 7 p.m. on Saturday, January the 20th. And that brings us to the curtain closer.
There you go.
We've made it through the hour.
Now,
We
before
did.
we hop off, I just got one video I got to play. It's only
Oh,
like
I am
30
so sorry,
seconds.
Dylan. I forgot to conserve.
No,
I'm
that one's
bad.
it's okay.
You
I got
told me
something
to.
else though. This is something I was supposed to do when you came back, but I totally forgot.
When I came
One
back,
more thing. Yep.
Oh yeah, the thing at the end. The thing at the end.
Oh yeah. Go
Bottom
ahead.
of paper.
Yeah. So, Dylan brought to my attention not too long ago that I had pulled out in front of Jen on the road, and I was confused at first, but I think I know what instance it was, and if it was near AutoZone. I'm sorry for pulling out in front of you, Jen. I thought that you were letting me go because you kind of like stopped for a bit. So like, yeah, sorry for almost hitting your car.
Corbin does what he wants.
Yes.
We just have all these notes about what to talk about. And then right at the bottom, we have Corbin publicly apologized to Jim.
Yeah.
With quotation marks, because he's not sorry. Corbin does what he wants.
I'm not sorry. I should have made that turn slower.
Cause a crash.
But yeah, sorry.
All right. Well.
we'll forgive him this time. That was so funny. Oh my gosh. Corbin, we love you. It's fine. Just watch where you're driving. All right. Well, Pete, we made it through the day.
Yes, we did.
And we do need to get out of here. It is Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Some chance of some fluffy stuff falling out of the sky tomorrow. Probably a wintry mix, as they call it.
That's what I'm getting to. I'm getting
Snow and rain mixed together.
Right.
It will be fine. Don't go buy all the bread and milk at Kroger.
right. I don't think we have. Oh, they will. They will. I don't.
They
I don't.
will.
I don't think we have the. I don't think we have the. We don't have a warning yet or an advisory, winter weather advisory. But the chart that I'm looking at shows if we do get some snow, it will probably be early in the morning, 6 a.m. to noon, and then it may be warm enough that it turns into something else. Hopefully,
That's right.
flat, straight rain.
Runs away.
Right.
So, yep.
All right.
So, but do keep your eyes open and get your snow shovels out just in case. But it's not going to be anything that you can't deal with. So, all right. Well, we'll be right back here on Monday.
All right. Okay.
So we'll see you then. Thanks, Pete. Have a great weekend.
All right. I've got to go get some bread and milk. I'll see you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Run out. Panic. We'll see you on Monday, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.